Name a film you think has a perfect 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof. That's a hard one.
Is it?
I think it is. What do I think?
The Passion of Joan of Arc?
No.
Probably The Godfather?
Yeah, The Godfather, probably.
Terminator 2?
I was actually, oh, shut up. I was thinking Terminator 2. I just listened to a podcast about Terminator 2, but maybe I have Terminator 2 on the brain.
Wait, news story. What podcast about Terminator 2?
So I listened, I've told you about, like, so there's this.
Use code so we don't give anybody a plug.
There's a podcast.
I was listening to Schmau Did This Get Schmade.
Yeah.
And.
So I like this podcast that I told you about before, and they have a related podcast because one of the hosts, same host,
your
does
sister
it,
and you, and
it's the theme. They talk about movies, and the theme is like. Without giving away like
code
what
is slowing us down.
I know.
Maybe you should just forget the code.
Whatever the title of it is it's all about like talking about dads and like the relationship to dads and like things.
I don't know what this is at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not all worried about it then.
So
and he's a big robot dad.
Yeah.
He would never yell at John.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
hit him.
lot of what they talked about, but they talked about other things too, about like how Sarah Connor is kind of like a dad too.
Sarah Connor,
yeah.
You are a dad.
Yeah, yeah. But like how her son is the one who teaches the robot how to do stuff, so he's kind of could be seen as like a dad in a way too. And like,
wow,
yeah.
What's it called? Stretch the Pizza Dough podcast. No. That's taken okay.
Yeah,
and really, Joe Morton is a dad because all he worried about is his kid driving his little robot car around, and then
yeah.
Jeez, okay, all right. Was I on this show?
No,
Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
Citizen Kane.
Okay, Citizen Kane.
The best film of all time.
Why didn't I think of that?
That's what we're talking about.
Okay,
it just lost its perfect 100% rating. It is now 99%. And you know why?
No.
Because a Chicago Tribune review from 1941 was unearthed. A contemporary review. Now,
what?
I think this is all, I don't know who runs the show over there. It's not Matt Atchidate anymore, but I think this is all a circus, a media circus. Because who cares? It's Metacritic that really cares about contemporary reviews. Mm-hmm. If Rotten Tomatoes cared about contemporary reviews, they wouldn't let like moviebutthole.com or whoever just pile on. Because that's where like the breadth and width of the 100 comes from, right? It's from like Movie Dude, Crude Dude, he's rude. Raphael has a reviewer set now. And then, he's just like, oh, this is so good. It's a classic. It's so good. But yeah, some guy who ate a bad, turkey sandwich and then like walked into a theater in 1941 and saw a newsreel about Hitler rolling over Europe was probably in a pretty bad mood. And then he watched Citizen Kane.
Yeah, right.
So, of course, all movies have good and bad reviews.
Of course.
Somebody likes Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
I don't see an article about that. Anyway,
No.
the title of the review was Citizen Kane Fails to Impress Critic as Greatest Ever Filmed.
What?
I think it was, even at the time, that's the legend of the film. Even at the time, it was thought of as, this is going to be one of the greatest movies ever.
Okay. So this critic is basically like, this did not impress me.
Yeah, he mentions in the review that he sees, by the ads in the picture. I don't know if this is like advanced ads or if he just saw it late. Mm-hmm. It's the Tribune. Maybe this is like their version of like, like the video reviews come out 3 months later when the movie comes out on video.
Okay,
and then oftentimes like, well, Owen Glimmerman said an A+, but this reviewer thinks, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, he says, you've heard a lot about this picture. Some experts think it's the greatest movie ever made. I don't. It's interesting. It's different. In fact, it's bizarre enough to become a museum piece. But its sacrifice of simplicity to eccentricity robs it of distinction and general entertainment value.
Huh. It's interesting that they call it a museum piece. I mean, like, and they go on to say that it's different and everything, but like it's not good because it's eccentric. Like, I'm sorry, did you want complete like realism in your movie?
Apparently, yes. He says that he didn't like the film's iconic use of shadow, saying it gives me the creeps, and I kept wishing they'd let a little sunshine in.
It's supposed to give you the creeps. That's the idea.
This guy just wandered off the street. And apparently, here's what I don't get, and I think that I think this is why this will be turned over eventually, is that we don't know their name. Now that's okay.
That's a little weird.
That's okay because a lot of Variety, for instance, is just historically, but also today, a approved critic or whatever. But when you look at their reviews from before like the 50s, 40s, they weren't putting bylines on movie reviews. Somebody wrote it, but they would just come in blocks. They'd say, picture, this one's for the kiddies. This is a dog and pony show. And so you wouldn't know who, so they take non-signed reviews.
Okay.
But this is just so specific. Like, this is clearly a hit piece. This is a troll who went back in time to 1941, didn't know what a cell phone was, but is basically doing what a troll does. And he's just like, I don't know. I don't think he's, I don't know. As the Chicago Tribune is standing on this one. The guy's name is Matt Tenay, which apparently was
No.
They would look.
No.
Things were boring back then.
I'm sorry.
Except for the war and the pandemic. That was a common pseudonym for people who were writing movie reviews.
Okay, yeah, I could see that, but that's stupid. And it seems like somebody, I don't know if this is the case. Somebody could have just come across this naturally and been like, "Oh my goodness," and like submitted it. But it almost seems like somebody in present day, present time, like didn't like Citizen Kane and was like searching for something, and then came across this review. I don't know. It seems like somebody, whether in the past or in the present, wanted to purposely be like, I didn't like it, and because I didn't like it, boo. Yeah, I know.
That's who it was.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 4chan or whatever didn't invent the the fat guy with a goatee in front of a bookcase. Sometimes they were named Matinee, and they were in black and white, and they talk like this.
Yeah, I understand. I just don't. I don't know. It rubs. They're talking about how the eccentricity of the film rubs them the wrong way. Well, your snobbishness rubs me the wrong way. Matinee.
Big boffo for Blimpo's blowout.
Yeah.
But not for this boy.
Yeah. I'm assuming it was a man.
I'm Matinee.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm going to start. I keep talking about all the things I'm going to do when I go dark side, and I just give in to all the worst impulses that have let a lot of people succeed, much like the character of Jonah on Veep.
Yeah.
Who is established early on as the worst human being alive. Yeah. But just is sort of zellaging his way like through the political system. And maybe the ultimate point of the show is to show that, this is no place for good people. This is no place for good ideas. Mm-hmm. It's just a rock tumbler where the worst people, the hardest rocks, make it to the middle. I don't know how rock tumblers work.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but I'm going to call it matinee.com. Matinee.com.
Oh my gosh.
It's just going to be, I don't like this. Hey, Junior Gumshoes, check this out. Get your press passes in your headbands and let's talk about how bad Nomadland is.
Yeah, right.
Oh, a movie about working at Amazon. Oh, that's a critiquing capitalism. How'd the movie get made then? And I bet you like that big best picture you got, don't you? Just like pointing out all these like useless observations about things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, what am I going to show it, like, on the back of a shoebox in a basement somewhere?
I know.
Like, yeah, that's called film distribution. That's just how it works. And people, buy tickets that you sell to see the movie.
Right. Yes.
It's like people who criticize communism by going, oh, I bet you like talking about communism on your iPhone. Communism doesn't mean that nobody has any currency or money. It doesn't mean that there's no economy. That's not what that means.
Yeah.
It means that the people control the
I
means
think
of
there's
production
a lot of
instead of
misconceptions.
one bald guy controlling it.
I think there's
He's
a lot
trying
of...
to get to the moon so he can kiss it because he thinks it's his girlfriend.
Right.
Because it's as bald as he is.
I think there are a
and
lot
then
of...
you ever think he ever like gets hit in the head and like and he goes oh.
What?
Like into the journey to the moon.
Yeah, I don't think I've
It's a
actually
happy
seen
moon.
that whole thing.
Oh shit! The rocket's embedded in the moon's head. Somebody
Yeah,
call
right,
a moon doctor.
right.
There's
I've
moon
seen
juice
that
all over the
part.
place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Not so happy now.
Yeah.
That poor actor was like, that was just like a day for him. They're like, hey, you want 50 cents?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I was going to go see Citizen Kane. It's doesn't exist yet, but I've heard it's bad. We're the Just Enough Show podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And we're here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment, but also we're here to talk about something new, but something old. Mm-hmm. This isn't a wedding show. That's not what we're doing. We're talking about new takes on old ideas.
Yes.
And we specifically are talking about today as our feature, the new Netflix series Yasuke.
Yeah.
Which has an interesting background, an interesting development process, and an interesting plot.
Yes.
To share with you about the real life story of the Black Samurai.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I know there's a lot of like, there's probably a lot of like Grindhouse movies about Black Samurais, but this is based on the real story of a real Black Samurai.
Yeah.
Named
correct.
Yasuke.
Yeah. And I think actually, sometimes with the, especially with the U's and like with Sue, sometimes you lose them in the pronunciation. So sometimes I think it might actually be Yasuke.
Yasuke.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yasuke. Well, I gave it a little U.
Yeah, right. Because
Right.
that's how it's spelled.
Right.
But
it's like whenever people want to say Japanese stuff, they always like head right for that U. They're like, let me give that. I know where I am on these vowels.
I know.
And the irony is that's not there at all.
Yeah. Well,
There is no
not,
vowel.
Not always anyways.
Yes.
So, yes.
That's why the main protagonist of Street Fighter is named Rai.
What? No.
R-Y-U.
Ryu, right?
Yes. We're talking about dropping the U's.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Keep up.
Okay.
That's not always true.
No, it is not always true.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yes. Anyways.
It's like they did that just to make us mad.
Yeah. Well,
It's like they have a different word for everything.
What? That is so crazy.
Except for all the loan words. Or
Yeah.
shoot. What are they called? What's that term? We're on the wrong show for this.
I can't remember the
Where
name
they
of
just
that
take,
term either.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
They're like,
McDonald's.
We're
Yeah.
going to come up with a new word. Just do
Yeah,
this.
I know. The thing that I struggle with the most though is like going over there. Sometimes like they say the loan words so fast, and there's just a different pronunciation. People were saying McDonald's to me, and I was like, huh, what? I did not process in my head what it was they were saying. It took me like a couple of tries.
What do they call Burger King?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I don't know.
This is like like the weird our remastered version of Pulp Fiction.
I don't think they have as many Burger Kings, but
you know,
it's
they
probably
they call restaurants something different over there.
right.
They don't say McDonald's.
Yeah,
they say McDonald's.
Yeah, it's probably
What do they call Burger King?
Burger King.
I don't know. I didn't.
It's probably Burger
don't eat
King.
Whoppers.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Do they know when they're saying Burger King or whatever you said that the word burger is not an English word?
Maybe they don't care. They're just saying the English version.
What
of
if
it.
there was a word that came from Japan, made its way all the way around
Sure.
the world,
I
and
understand
then
what you're
came
saying.
back to Japan? And they're like, "Oh, what's this new word?" Never the wiser. It's like a orthographical Black Mirror episode.
Sure.
Kind of like how every once in a while I'm browsing on Facebook on the Voyager and the Star Trek sites, and I see the art that I've done being shared by somebody else, and
It's
it's
always
like,
awesome, right?
well, in a way, it's a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, but you
As long
should
as people aren't claiming that it's
be
theirs.
getting credit for it.
Well, I should be, but talk to CBS about that. Let's talk about the news. Well, speaking of Asia in general, which is basically one half of the globe, that hemisphere.
Yes.
Chinese censors were censoring director Chloe Zhao's win of the Oscar for Best Director.
Why?
Why do they want anybody to care about that?
But why are they censoring it? I don't understand. Because she's a woman? Because she lives in America now? I don't understand.
Yeah, because they're little bitches. They're little...
I freaking hate this.
Yes, they're little salty bitches. And although I think that she was a Chinese national at one point, but I think that she has dual citizenship or just considers herself to be an American now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't like that.
I don't like that.
So
I don't like that they did that. How do they do
clearly
this?
It doesn't air live, right? It can't. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Did they just hit a button and everything just goes black for a while?
Good question. Like, how do you do that? Or do you just edit that word out and then, like,
Well, if
everybody's
they ever
like,
broadcast
what
in
was
the future,
it?
they'll just edit that out.
Yeah.
Well, nobody won Best Director this week. Weird.
That's so weird. That's so strange. I wonder if I could go on the internet and find out who won.
No, you can't.
Not in China, probably.
No, you have experience with that.
Yeah. I didn't understand. I had, I think, in the back of my head, some understanding that China as a whole didn't really like Google that much. But I didn't understand to what extent that was. You can't really send like a Google, a document attached, a Google document attached to an email and have it get through to somebody in China.
Can't Google much in China.
No, and they don't like Dropbox either. And there's actually a number of apps that China doesn't like or bans.
This is why it's so important and so specific, the use and availability of certain apps in their country. So there's, I don't even know what it is now, but there is a message app that they use.
Sure.
That's not like Facebook or whatever. It's a specific thing. Because it's the one that the Chinese government's like, whatever, just you can use that.
You can use that one.
And so people use that. But then something happens or they find out that it's tracking something or whatever and they shut that down. Now everybody's got to like rush to find like a different messaging
A new thing. Yeah. It's got to be incredibly frustrating to be living in China and dealing with that, I would think. Especially like what happens if like you are somebody from America and you're living in China? Like,
I think you have to do like the Chinese do.
You have to like have like a workaround. What if you have like a Gmail account?
You don't use it.
Oh my God. I just don't even know how I would deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freedom of information.
Yeah.
The freedom for the people who provide it to you to spy on you.
Yeah.
But you can send or receive an email anywhere. Just know you're going to get dick pill ads.
Yeah, right.
From it.
Yeah.
That's what we've accepted in America.
Yeah, that is what we have accepted. But
what if the USPS opened your letter, read your mail, and then delivered it, but also delivered flyers for grandma's cookies or whatever it is that you were writing about?
Yeah, I would not like that.
Well,
I would not like that at all.
That every time you open up your computer, that's happening to you. Let's talk about more bad news. Olympia Dukakis has passed away. The Oscar and Golden Globe winning actress who appeared in Moonstruck has passed away at the age of 89.
I saw that. Yeah, she was in a bunch of other stuff too.
Oh my
right?
goodness, she's been in so many things.
Yeah.
And is she was a child of immigrants. Came from Greece and Turkey, and grew up here. Had got a degree in like physical therapy.
Interesting.
Which she applied to treat polio victims.
Wow.
That's what she was doing before she got started as an actress.
Huh.
Got a master's in fine arts and then did stage for a while. And then, just been in a ton of stuff. She's won an Emmy. Well, she's been nominated for an Emmy a million times. And there's a feature-length documentary just came out about her.
Oh, you're kidding.
This last year called Olympia. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I should check that out. I mean, that's 89. That's a pretty good.
That's how we always end this segment.
I hate to say that. I feel like I'm being repetitive.
Like Chadwick Boseman.
No.
30, 37. That's,
no, I was too young. I don't know what the cutoff is, but
this crib death. I had a pretty good.
Oh my
pretty
goodness,
good run.
No.
89 weeks.
Stop it.
It's sad, but I mean, what an amazing career and legacy that she has left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I love Moonstruck.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't love Steel Magnolias, but I do think that it is quite an accomplishment and a great film.
I don't know that I have ever seen Steel Magnolias.
Come on. How is that possible?
I'm serious.
Well, I'll tell you something. I didn't like it.
Oh my god.
Heads up, Junior Gumshoes. These magnolias are resting.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah, no, I don't think I ever saw it. Like, when did it come out? Was it like in the 80s?
I don't know. Is it just your conversation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in like the early 90s, like 91 or 92.
Yeah, I was too young to see it, I think, at the time.
But I'll tell you one thing. It's got a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, how high is it?
This is how high it is. It
Yeah.
is 68%. That's not very high.
That's not very high. I think there were a lot of matinees on that one who were like downvoting it.
I think maybe aggregate reviews are a bad idea.
Maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe they are. Could
Yeah.
be. It's possible.
Yeah.
Here's some more bad news. You know Noel Clark? Noel Clark played Mickey on Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah,
on
yeah.
Torchwood.
Yes.
And I don't know, some other. He was in the worst Star Trek movie ever. Well, bad news, everybody. He is a sex pest.
Yeah.
And
freaking
he has
fantastic.
been accused of, and also police reports with the London Metropolitan PD have been filed for him for sexual assault. Also bullying, which always sounds dumb when you put it next to sexual assault.
It does.
But is, if you're a superior, somebody superior,
Sexual predator
if you're somebody's
or whatever.
manager,
Yeah.
the kind of situations that you find yourself in like these entertainment sort of
Yes.
roles. Not great.
No.
So, I guess somebody's not coming to the next Companions get together.
No, I think he's going to be uninvited permanently.
Just like what the hell?
I don't know. This really upsets me because I really liked Mickey.
This is the Mirror Universe one, right?
Yeah, right.
Aren't there's like two Mickeys.
Probably.
There's Ricky and Mickey.
I don't know.
Is his name Ricky?
No, his name is Mickey, right?
Yes, but like but I thought like either Tennant or the Ninth Doctor, Eccleston, called him Ricky. Either because he screwed up and he just kept doing it, or he was like being purposely insulting. Then this is right. This is Tenet, because then they went to Pete's World, which is an alternate universe
Yes.
where the Cybermen in this version of Doctor Who come from, and there is another Mickey, but he's like a badass,
Right.
and he's like a resistance fighter.
Sure.
We spent too much time on this.
Wasn't it like? Didn't you tell me it was like something like 20 women or something like that? Like had complained.
20? No, just like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
What was the 20?
I don't know why I thought 20.
Well, maybe Marilyn Manson's got 20, but I know he's got one more.
Uh-oh.
Actress Esme Bianco, who most famously played Roz on Game of Thrones, has accused Marilyn Manson of rape and sexual abuse.
Oh my gosh.
She's filed a federal lawsuit.
That's terrible. Remind me who Roz was again.
She was the character who I don't believe exists in the books, or at least she's an amalgam of several characters who they brought in to... She was the source of the sex exposition. They just created her so they would be a character that was sort of, tell me about, I don't know about the North, or like, here I am in King's Landing. Oh, and then,
She was like, they were
like
having sex with her and stuff like that? Or...
I don't know. I can't. She was just she was like a prostitute, sex worker character.
Sure.
Let me describe her. She's like a stacked redhead.
Yeah, okay.
And she, I don't know.
Gave them information while they were having sex.
No, it's not exclusively. She didn't really have a role in the story, which is kind of one of the problems.
Gotcha.
One of the really symptoms that we should have like looked at and went, maybe these guys don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then of course her claim to fame, or I guess, is like that Joffrey, killed her.
Oh, great.
That's kind of what put Joffrey over the top, as being like, okay, let's clock ticking on this kid.
Is
yeah.
not a good
Yeah.
kid. Yeah. Okay. That's freaking terrible. How disappointed can you be in somebody?
I don't know. And you do the thing where you go, oh well, wow, the paranoid android. What is he? You sing about like drugs and rape and terrible things, and then it's like, oh wow, I'm so surprised.
Yeah,
but the thing
know,
is that like it doesn't. He gives people who do sing about that stuff a bad name. And once again, I'll pull out Alice Cooper, who is like apparently just a living
really
saint.
Nice guy. Yeah,
looks like a catcher's mitt with a heart of.
Well, what about like Trent Reznor or something like that? Like, I think he seems like he's like a nice guy. You don't know?
Yeah, I wouldn't. If we had a pool, I wouldn't put any money in there. But yeah, as far as I know, Trent Reznor, fine. So you're just picking on 90s artists. I take Alice Cooper. That's like the 70s. What? Fred Durst is an asshole? What?
Oh, yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. But I'm not
because it's 1999.
I'm not gonna smudge his name if he's not. But
you better not smudge my name.
Yeah,
that's probably one of their songs.
Probably.
It is disappointing. Let's talk about something fun instead.
Let's do it.
I hope you're ready.
Yes.
Let's talk about just real quick. This isn't really a story, but did you know that America Chavez was going to appear in Doctor Strange 2? Did we talk about that?
No, I can't picture who that is.
Now. Well, you haven't read Young Avengers, and I guess that is coming up actually on our docket. So in a week or two, maybe you'll know who I'm talking about. But yes, actress. Oh boy, forgive me of the pronunciation. It's on me to learn, but it's Zostill.
Okay.
Zostill.
Okay.
Xochitl Gomez is going to be playing America Chavez. She is probably best known for being Dawn Schaefer in the first season of the Netflix Babysitters Club show.
Oh, okay. She's very cute.
And
big smile.
Yeah, and she'll be playing America Chavez. America Chavez is Miss America. She comes from Earth 82 or something like that.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
And it's an Earth where it's a paradise, mostly because women run everything and everybody is bisexual. And they're probably communists too. Take that. And her power, I don't know what her power is. Power is, whatever. I know she can stomp holes in between dimensions. I know that. So she kicks a star-shaped hole in the dimensions, and then you can go to other dimensions. And I think she's also just like, generally strong and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And she is a bi-POC LGBTQ character.
All right. Yeah, I guess we better read Young Avengers.
It's the Tumblr of superhero teams. Sure.
I mean, haven't we kind of been sensing with a lot of the Marvel properties recently that they're getting ready to? It seems like they're that's where they're headed, at least partially, is the Young Avengers team, like with like Wanda's kids, and then Isaiah Bradley's grandson. Whose name I can't think of right now, and America. Yeah.
That's what YouTube tells me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like that's where it's going.
We'll talk about it someday. First, you have to introduce Kang, though, don't you? To have a young Kang, you're going to need an old Kang.
Yeah. How do you do that? How do you introduce Kang?
Well, we know Kang is going to be in Ant-Man, and Ant-Man... These Ant-Man movies are pretty easy to make, right? They just pop right out.
Sure.
So maybe you could do that one first. Winston Duke was supposed to be King, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
But that's not possible. He's already...
what is his name?
The other guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it is.
I can't remember his name.
The point is, I don't know, maybe you'd introduce him as a kid and then you show him later. So that means we're going to need another black kid in addition to Patriot.
Yes.
Does that take away... I'm not saying we need like a token black person. Trust me, the Young Avengers is all over the place. But having a black Iron Lad and a black Patriot, is that too much?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fine.
I do not think so at all.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Will who is playing this role? Sing a song while I look up who's playing Kang.
Sing a song. I'm out of tune really bad. I'm so sorry. I don't know what the song is. This is a song.
I found it a while ago. Okay. I'm just sweating her.
All right.
I'm just sweating her. Hey, why'd you stop?
Because you're sweating me. That's why I stopped.
Will this be a situation where, say, oh boy, this is tough. This is a rough one.
Okay.
Zoe Saldana, oh boy, is not playing a black alien cyborg woman. She's just playing a green cyborg woman. And that's probably where she should stop.
Yeah.
At green. She's like, is this green dark enough? Should we darken this green?
Okay. All right. I know what you're doing there. Yeah.
Jonathan Majors is the actor. He is the guy from Lovecraft Country. So will he be playing...
Oh, the main guy from Lovecraft
Kang
Country?
black? Or is Kang just going to be played by a black guy? Because Kang is blue or purple, I guess, or whatever color you want him to be.
Right.
And the thing is, it is important because Kang was human at one time.
I see.
So he has to start as something.
Yeah.
I hate to be all racially divisive.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, if he's going to be played by a black actor, he should start as black, right? That's what I think.
And what I'm saying here in my race baity way, because that's all that this show is, just enough race baiting, is is he just look, obviously we could have a computer do this, but we've got an actor doing this.
Right.
But there is a legacy that comes with that actor and his race. We're very concerned about that right now.
Yeah.
So is Kang just going to be like, nobody cares that Gamora is black because she's just an actress who's wearing face paint and she's playing an alien, right?
Right.
But is the fact that John Majors is playing Kang important because he was human at one point?
I think yes, right?
Or will we never address that? He just has a purple head and he is an invader, a purple-headed invader. Is that Stanley's idea of a joke?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, will it ever be important? Because if we show Iron Lad, it's going to be a young black guy. And if we ever see Immortus, it's going to be an old black guy. If they do that.
Right.
Because you can't go, okay, well, did you know that Iron Lad is a young Kang? And then you take off Iron Lad's helmet, and he's just a white guy, and you'd be like, oh, I'm triggered. I'm triggered.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me that.
Right.
It's like that. It's like the Human Giant sketch with the illusionators, right?
I don't know if I know.
And they
that
turn
one.
like a white kid into a black kid.
Okay.
They're like, abracadabra. And then he's like a black kid, and then Michael K. Williams is like, "Oh hell no! You telling me you can make black people now? Forget about I'm out of here."
No,
they get like, "We're sorry." They have to apologize to everybody.
Oh my god!
We said we read a list of African American people and apologized to each of them. So it's like Aaron Andrews, "We're sorry."
Oh my goodness! Right? Oh my gosh! No,
but it was very long, the list. We only got to Anthony Anderson. Who we love. We love his work.
Oh my god.
Right?
No. Yeah, I think
how many other people's bits am I going to do until you say something?
I think you have to make, Kang a black man. I think you have to if that actor who's playing him is black. Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Now, new question.
Okay.
The news is done. This is all we're talking about for the rest of the show. New question. If Kang is black and he can control time, then why does racism exist? If Kang is just a white guy who thinks he deserves to rule the universe, and yes, he's an ancestor of the Richards family or whatever.
Sure.
A lot of spoilers for the upcoming Ant-Man movie here in my talkings. Then fine, but if he's a black guy, right? Like,
I understand what you're saying.
Look at our Doctor Who example. Doctor Who,
God.
they go back and talk to Rosa Parks.
I know.
And Doctor Who's like, this is a very important moment in time. We have to be careful not to interfere with it.
Yeah.
If Doctor Who was black, they'd be like, get the guns. We're getting on that bus.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yes. I don't know how they're going to spin that. Like, is he just like a very selfish person?
No.
So,
We are in conceptual space. It is a space that I have created where we are just speculating on the implications of this media, which, to be fair, was created both in a time of great social unrest and with the intention of exploiting and hopefully, causing a conversation around that societal unrest.
Right.
So I don't think it's wrong to talk about this stuff right now.
No,
I have
don't
no
think
idea
it's
what they're going to
either.
do. MCU will definitely take the path of least resistance. That is a path of least pissing anybody off, like they do with everything.
So you think that it'll be okay? Kang was played by a black actor, but we're not really going to focus on race at all. Do you think that's what they're going to do?
I think they have the ability to do that. I think they absolutely can do that.
Yeah.
Because it's never been part of the story. It's not like Black Panther was a superhero and then, Ryan Coogler went, what if he's black? Check this out. That was always part of the character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And then it'd be like if they actually ever did cast Donald Glover as Spider-Man, like they were teasing they were going to.
Yes.
Then suddenly it becomes... well, this is an element of the character that we have to address. Mm-hmm. Miles Morales is black and Latinx.
Yes.
And that was a big part of Into the Spider-Verse. Now, it didn't have to be. It could have just been, obviously my dad's part of my story and that's important and my uncle and all that.
Right.
And we're going to stop Kingpin. But instead, they just went ahead and did that and made that part of his life as it's always been in the comic.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, now you got Kang, and Kang's like, oh, this guy's black. Should we just let him beat us? Because doesn't he deserve that?
Oh my goodness.
Haven't his people been through enough?
I don't think that they're going to spin it that way. I don't... We have they're just an abundance too of black actors who wear a lot of makeup for these sci-fi comic book movies, and I think that's something that we need to
put a mask
to be
on.
addressed. Yeah,
like Bloodshot and Blood Man and Blood Guy, not Bloodshot. Blood Sport and Deadshot.
Whew. Oh my gosh!
I almost dragged Vin Diesel into this.
Oh my gosh!
Then we'd have to ask the age-old question. What's Vin Diesel?
I have no idea.
What is he?
I don't know.
Who's in his family?
I don't know.
He has said that he's a lot of things, and I believe him.
I believe him.
But he doesn't, wear FUBU or anything like that. I like the fact that he doesn't, push it at all.
Yeah, right.
Right. I'm not saying that if push came to shove and we got the 23andMe kits out, he would be doing an Elizabeth Warren on this.
No.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's like we had this conversation about just enough race baiting. We can't call the episode that. We will get taken off iTunes, but that's what this is. We had a conversation about Adam Duritz the other day.
Yeah, I know.
When I was like, Adam Duritz black? And you're like, I don't know. And I went, you know what? I don't know either.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. He's not. He's Jewish.
Yes.
But he certainly hasn't said no to anybody. He hasn't gone out of his way to prove to people that he's not black. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So when he's making a Counting Crows song or he's chatting up Cameron Diaz or one of the many dozens of Hollywood actresses that he's like, does he think that they're thinking, oh, this guy's very soulful.
I don't know.
This is where the music comes from. And he's like, I'm not going to correct anybody.
I don't know. I mean, if you make your career and people...
If your career centered around you having dreadlocks for 50 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel like people are just kind of... Maybe people were talking about this before.
Nobody talks about Adam Duritz.
No, but I mean, I feel like people didn't talk about as much that dreadlocks was having dreadlocks and you're not black is kind of cultural appropriation.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
But I don't feel like that's something that people have necessarily really openly talked about before. And I feel like there were, especially in the 90s, a lot of white people who had dreadlocks. I feel like there was a phase that people went through, and maybe even when Bob Marley was really really popular in the 70s.
You go to Cancun.
Yeah.
Right. But that's a little different. But still, we've all decided that we don't do that.
We don't do that. Yeah.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
As speaking of Black Panther, we were speaking of Charles Foster Kane and Citizen Kane before.
Yes.
And Black Panther is better than Citizen Kane.
Why? Because it has 100% on an aggregated sites now? Yeah. Is that why?
No, well, Black Panther is at 96%.
Oh, okay. All right, well, why is it better?
Because it has more reviews. It's like a weighted type thing. On average, it is better.
Well... That's kind of hard to weigh too, right? Because maybe more people are reviewing these days than they were back when Citizen Kane came out.
It's a broken system.
It is a broken system.
I made an entire podcast about it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that Chadwick Boseman guy. Anthony Hopkins paid special tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, I heard about that.
In a short video after his... They call it a surprise. I don't think it's ever a surprise that Anthony Hopkins wins an Oscar, but... He certainly wasn't, I don't think, people's odds-on favorite.
No, I think people were surprised,
it's
and maybe he was surprised.
so dumb that he won.
Yeah, well.
The Oscars.
I know.
Spread it out.
That's the name of the game, and you called that. But
Oscars
I just
like
did not.
COVID.
I did not.
You got to spread it.
I did not guess that he would win over Chadwick Boseman and Stephen. I'm going to say his last name wrong because I'm terrible.
You only went to school with him.
I know. How do you say it?
Yuan.
Oh my god. Stephen Yuen. I'm so sorry.
If you're that sorry, look it up.
I have, and I'm just really bad.
If you're
at
that
names.
sorry, remember it.
And Riz Ahmed as well. Like, so we have, and then who else was nominated? Riz Ahmed.
No, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you're just messing with me. And then Mank. So I mean,
You're just listing nominees now.
I know, but it's like two old white guys, and then diverse actors that you could choose from who deserve it as well.
Speaking of figures who are being played by non-white actors,
Uh-oh.
not anymore, baby. Noah Centineo will no longer be playing He-Man in the Masters of the Universe film.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because he has a real career, and apparently this thing isn't going anywhere.
When was this announced? I don't even remember.
Mattel Films.
Yeah.
Yes, Mattel Films.
That's a thing?
You know, the co-sponsors of
Barbie? Barbie goes to Vegas or something?
Citizen Kane.
Yeah, what?
Mattel Films was making we've talked about this on the show, and it's so,
Yeah.
I don't blame you, it's so forgettable that I'm not surprised you didn't know. They cast Noah Centineo. This is almost 3 years ago now.
Okay.
Noah Centineo is a big, tall guy. He is... I'm not doing race on everybody. I don't know. He's got dark hair.
Yeah,
he's
sure.
kind of darker complected. I don't know what he is, but he's not, Prince Adam, Sig Heil.
Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is like, all right, cool. Let's try
Fine.
that.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren was great, but let's try something else.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy, but he's not a particularly like ripped
Buff guy. Yeah.
And I was interested to see the journey that this guy was going to go through, where he's just all protein shakes and Instagram, right, to get big.
Sure. Yeah.
But I remember watching it over the 2 years. He didn't ever get all that much bigger, and I'm like, so is this not happening?
That's weird.
And now it never will.
No.
Because he's not doing it.
Did he sense it wasn't happening, and so he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that?
Maybe, but also from what I understand, I've read some of the things about some of these Marvel guys, like when Kumail got big.
Yeah, sure.
It didn't take that long. They put you on a pretty heavy
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
And then it's so fluctuatable. It's so fluctuating that when they do reshoots, you can just go off and live your life. But then an X amount of weeks or months before the reshoots, you have to go back on the thing.
Bulk up and do their regimen, their nutrition.
But apparently, regimen. I don't know if he just hired the guy personally. Apparently, Kumail is I think kept it on. I think Kumail is still walking around
oh, people like this, so I'm going to keep, maybe his wife really likes it or something,
I guess.
Yeah.
You think you'd break a lot of pencils when you're writing all these great movies together. But,
honey, I need another pencil. Oh, Camille.
This is going to be, the big thick.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah. So anyway, that kind of goes by the wayside then. I guess it's still in development. They've announced nobody to replace him. And it's not... So a lot of people are thinking that because of the success of She-Ra, maybe...
the animated series?
There is a new, way to go with this.
Okay.
Originally it was... prepubescent boy power fantasies.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of obliques.
Yes.
And then same body, different colors.
Yeah.
And so She-Ra came in and went, well, what if it's all different? It's LGBTQ. It's more of a, action adventure with emotions and fantasy and that sort of thing.
It's all about friendship, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So a lot of people are thinking, well, what's the new He-Man cartoon going to be like?
Yeah.
Well, it's written and created by Kevin Smith. So the answer is...
Oh, boy.
Probably the complete opposite of She-Ra.
I've heard that.
It's going to be counter-programming to She-Ra.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be all I don't know. I mean, a lot of his films, I think, talk about friendship, kind of, but it's not like friendship is magic or anything like that.
It talks about friends who star in a porno together.
Yeah, that too.
And friends who are supposed to be lesbians, but they I guess they're bisexual because they're in a relationship with you.
Yeah, I know.
And those kind of friends.
Yeah, was he the best one to pick to do that? I mean, I know he's done like a lot of comic book wrating and everything.
All terrible. He's not the best pick for anything.
I am. Yeah.
But I don't know. He has adult daughters, right? Or at least one.
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't think he's any different. So it's not like, because I was going to say, oh, he's got kids now. He realizes like, I'm going to make a cartoon for my kid, right?
Right.
But he's no different. He
hasn't learned anything.
18, 20 years of having a child. And so.
And he's still writing raunchy comedy.
Fat man on Batman, but now he's thin man on Batman.
Yeah, right. I don't know how I feel about that. Can't say I'm excited about anything that Kevin Smith is attached to these days. I used to be, I liked Mallrats a lot.
It's like the worst
growing
one.
up. Well, that was like my favorite. Like
know.
me and my friends were obsessed with Mallrats and Empire
I know.
Records.
I
So
know.
I watched it so many times. Anyways, not the best film, looking back on it, like in a lot of ways. But, at the time, I thought it was great.
Well, speaking of Noah Centineo and other projects and also big ripped dudes,
Yeah.
let's talk about Black Adam starring
Sure.
The Rock as
He's a pretty ripped
Black
dude.
Adam,
Yeah.
which it's a guy's name.
Yes.
Although I think he has another original name, right? He was like an
I
Egyptian
have
man many years ago.
no idea. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
But do you feel like Marvel is maybe getting ahead of it by doing the whole, oh, you're Black Falcon? It's like, I think I'm just Falcon.
I don't know that that's what they were going for.
Yeah, but they've caltropped the passage, and now
Yeah.
Black Adam will come through, and people are like, does it have to be Black Adam?
Yeah.
I guess you're Black Adam.
I don't think they were like, when they did that,
They knew what they were doing.
I don't think they were trying to purposely undermine DC.
They
but
knew
sure.
what they were doing.
Okay.
But speaking of black men, there's going to be a lot of them in this movie.
Okay.
I'm going to say Pierce Brosnan, who's not a black man. He's a black
No.
Irish man.
Right.
But I'm going to say that first. He's playing Dr. Fate. Then Aldous Hodge is playing Hawkman. Aldous Hodge appeared in Star Trek Discovery Season 3.
Oh, yeah.
And-
he was Book, right?
Yes.
I love him as... I'm excited about that. I like him. I think he's a great actor.
And Noah...
He's playing Hawkman, you said?
Yes.
Do you think there's a possibility
Give it
for
up.
a hot girl?
No.
No. I'm not gonna
No
give
women
it up.
can fit in this movie. And Noah Centineo will be playing Atom Smasher. Noah Centineo, not a black man, but I'm getting to it. The movie has recently cast Uli Latukifu,
Okay.
who plays the young Rock, college age Rock, on Young Rock.
Oh. So is he going to be a young Black Adam in this?
Now, they've done this before, haven't they? I feel like there's a precedent for an actor just like handpicking their young version of them. And like, definitely some young actor has played the young version of an actor more than once, right?
Oh, sure.
Most recent thing I can think of is Wonder Woman, right?
Oh, was it the same actress?
There was a little Diana and a teen Diana in the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And in the Wonder Woman 1984,
Yes.
a kind of tweener Wonder Woman is doing the obstacle course, and that's the young little Diana from the first movie.
Okay. I think I did know that. Yeah, all right. Yeah. No, I think that there's at least some history of this happening. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they get the kid that played young Mank. Hold on to him because
goodness.
in Mank 2, we'll need to return to that storyline.
Oh God.
The young Mank,
Yeah. No.
Black
like,
Mank.
Stop it. What is it, like pre-Citizen Kane Mank? Is that what we're doing?
Do Black Mank.
No, I don't want to. Okay, I mean, this is. I'm glad that we're getting more information about this because, like, I feel like this movie has been in production for a long time, and you're having a moment over there.
It's been in production for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of this here.
Oh,
I just want to
okay.
say fast that Gemma Chan is apparently the star of the Eternals, according to Kevin Feige.
Oh, really?
So, if you don't get it right the first time, do it again.
Oh.
Any other Marvel people been in a small Marvel role and then been the lead of another film?
That is a really good question that I can't think of anybody
Gary
off
Shandling.
the top of my head.
Gary Shandling.
What?
And then, so I want to just say that, and then also say really fast that there is a film that I know you're going to like.
Okay.
This has really no news value at all. I'm just doing this for you.
All right.
You're welcome.
What is the film?
But Netflix has obtained the U.S. distribution rights for the action film Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh, yeah, I know about this film.
Oh.
What? You're disappointed.
You want to take over?
It stars God, I'm really bad with names, so no, maybe I don't want to take over.
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan and
actress of color.
What?
Well, red. The color's red.
Yeah, right. And then there's like 3 older women who are, isn't it Lena Headey?
Heidi.
Is it Heidi? Okay.
Or Hetty.
And Michelle Yeoh.
Carla Gugino.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett.
And Angela Bassett, yes. And like, I'm guessing Lena Headey was like her mom or something like that. They're in some sort of, they're spies or just something like that. And her mom wasn't really around that much. And there's something going on and like she gets wrapped up in something. And then all of a sudden mom and the rest of the group show up and chaos happens. I don't know. No, I actually heard about it because I saw it was like a Zoom like convention thing with Doctor Who actors like sometime last year, and Karen Gillan was in it, and Matt Smith and a couple other people, and people were going around at the very end talking about projects coming up. So that's how I knew about that film.
Director of the film, and I believe that he wrote it as well, Navot Popshado.
Okay.
Is an Israeli director.
Okay.
He is, does this count as like, oh great, another white guy. Whenever they announce some movie and it's some guy with a beard and you're like, ugh, come on. Chloe Zhao just won Best Director.
I know.
Does it count if they're from Israel?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard, right? When it's like, this is like a very female lead film.
It's all about women.
And then it's directed by a white guy.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I don't really know how to feel about that, but it does seem like an interesting idea. Actually, it doesn't. It seems like an idea that has been done a million times with men, but we're going to do it with women now. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be good.
Yeah.
He's also working on a film called Once Upon a Time in Palestine, which is everything that it sounds like.
Okay.
It's going to be like it's going to draw on spaghetti westerns.
Interesting.
And war movies to do a movie set in British ruled Palestine in 1946.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, do you see a problem with an Israeli director doing that movie?
Yeah, I don't think that's like, he's probably, his views on it are probably going to be fairly, skewed, is a political correct way of saying that.
I wasn't even going that far.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying, like, the appearance of, not a good idea in this case is maybe what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Like if a German. Well, you know where I'm going.
Oh, you're going to do something about World War II?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was going to write like a movie about Jews and their experience in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
You'd be like, is that your story?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It doesn't, it's something that's like, I think that doesn't really sit. I think we're having a harder time.
We're having a moment
with this sort of thing right now because it's like, because we're starting to think about that more and like who's telling these stories and is it really for them to be the ones telling this story? Yeah. Is it really, like you were saying, their story to tell? And I think that's a really good point. And I think it's a good thing that we're thinking about that more, but I don't think that Hollywood has completely
assimilated that lesson.
Is there yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that
this isn't Hollywood.
I know, but I still think that there are going to be films that get made, and we're going to be like, I don't know know if that was a good idea, but
Can't wait to be proved wrong.
yeah, there you go.
Looking forward to being proved wrong.
Always looking forward to being proven wrong.
Not sure I will be.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna say?
I don't know what to say because I feel like I don't know that much. I just know that there's a lot of history there, and so I don't to say the least.
There is a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Some would say all the history comes from there.
Right. Because that's the part of the world where a lot of religion started, and people fight over it to this day. So
And the main role, Zoe Saldana.
Oh, stop it.
Tiger style. Yo. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. There's no place to hide once I step inside the room. Dr. Doe.
Well, now that we've got everybody uncomfortable as far as the racial conversations go, let's talk about the new Netflix show.
Something that has nothing to do with race whatsoever.
Where a black guy became a samurai.
Yep.
Did you know the story of Yasuke before watching this show? Did you know that he fought against mech suits?
I did not know that. I also did not know that magic was involved.
In the 16th century, yes.
Yeah.
It's all true.
Yeah. And a lady with a scythe and a lady who is I'm going to call her...
That's a comma.
It's a comma?
Yes.
That's called a comma.
K-A-M-A.
Interesting. And a lady I'm going to call her who turns into a werebear because she's not a wolf. She's a bear. She's very tall.
So we've got tall werewolf lady.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Wait, what?
Tall vampire lady.
Oh, yeah. Tall vampire lady. I gotcha.
And short Frankenstein lady. Gotta do something different.
Short Frankenstein lady?
Frankenstein's already tall. If we did tall Frankenstein lady, his head would be scraping the clouds. So we gotta do short.
I see what you're saying.
Frankenstein lady.
Yeah. Skew everybody's expectations and make Frankenstein short. I like it. Vaguely familiar with the story of Yasuke, but not super familiar with the story.
Well, nobody's super familiar because there isn't a lot of documentation on it. But because of his placement in the government, it was assured that he would go somewhat down in history.
Sure.
And the story that we know, essentially, is that we know that this guy was of African origin, obviously.
Right.
We don't know exactly where he was from in Africa. It's true that he did come to Japan with like Portuguese traders, more or less. And he was it a missionary? In the show, he's with like a trader. But...
Yeah. Well, according to Wikipedia, he was in the service of an Italian Jesuit missionary, Alessandro Vallegano, a visitor of missions in the Indies and India. Yeah.
But one of the theories of his origin is that he's from Mozambique because the Portuguese trade of the Indian Sea and everything went there a lot.
Right.
And got a lot of their slaves from there.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. So we don't really know his exact origin, but they know that his name was Yasuke, or at least the Japanese version of his name was.
Right.
And they tell this story just in his history where he was, he was an assistant or he was attached to, this official. And he ended up meeting Oda Nobunaga, who was like the warlord who was trying to unify Japan at this point.
Yes.
During their kind of warring states period. And he was impressed by this guy. He's like, look at this guy. It's like a Mel Brooks skit, He's like, it don't come off.
Oh my God, I know.
He literally had him stripped and like scrubbed because he's like, this guy's dirty.
I know.
It doesn't come off.
Wow.
It's just like, wow. All right. But you know what? They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Hadn't seen anybody like that.
Yeah.
And he like took a liking to this guy and kind of had him around a lot.
Yeah.
And basically gave him like a sword and gave him like a title, essentially. And he kind of became like one of his retainers, one of his guys.
Yes.
And he was with him up through his death when,
in
the story of Nobunaga, he did all this work to unite Japan, but
Right.
pissed off some
people
of his
didn't like
guys
it. Yeah.
and was going to lose a battle and basically had to commit seppuku, as was the style at the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, we kind of lose him. He fought a little more in some of the wars, and I think he fought in a battle with the side that lost, and then we don't really hear about him after that.
Well, it's hard too when, like, I mean, maybe people already know this, but when your lord dies, you basically you become a ronin. So you're a samurai without a
Unless
lord.
your lord had a child
Sure.
named Nobutada, who he went to work for.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. So I
no,
guess
two.
So he didn't become a ronin. In the TV show, he becomes a ronin.
Yes.
But okay. Because I was going to say, like, if he didn't have a lord, then, and he was just going around doing odd jobs and that sort of thing and getting hired for his sword, it would be harder to keep track of him.
And it's interesting because I think that this, people have known about this. Obviously, it happened a long time ago, so we've
Right.
known about it for a while. But it's only like, I feel like this is like an internet success story. This is the
It
kind of
seems
thing.
like it.
This is the kind of thing that you read about on a Wikipedia, and you go, "Oh, I'll do something with that." Nobody owns the rights to this.
Yeah.
And so he has appeared, sort of off and on in like manga and anime before this point. But
Yes.
the 21st century is where it really started to pick up.
Yeah.
There was that show Afro Samurai, which was all stylized, but it was supposedly based in part on the life of Yasuke.
Yeah.
He's been in a couple video games. Apparently, Chadwick Boseman was in line to portray him before he died.
I know.
And now you've got this show, this anime, called simply Yasuke,
Yeah.
which it's funny. It's developed by, it's written by American Black
Yes.
writers,
Okay.
and it is produced by MAPPA, which is a Japanese anime studio that
okay.
did Jujutsu Kaisen
Okay.
and some other stuff, like a kind of a big deal.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And the character designs are by the guy who did Ninja Scroll,
Okay.
Takeshi Koike.
Okay.
The main creator of the show is called LaShawn Thomas. He is an animator, a producer, a comic book artist. He's done a lot of stuff. He worked on the Black Dynamite TV series,
Oh, okay.
which was basically a cartoon spinoff of the Black Dynamite film.
Okay.
He also worked on Legend of Korra, and he worked on the
Interesting.
Boondocks as well.
Okay. Sure.
So a lot of history in animation. And then it's also written by Nick Jones Jr.,
Okay.
who is another creator who has done other animation shows. He's an actor as well.
Okay.
And they all work together with a guy named Flying Lotus.
All right.
Flying Lotus is a musician.
Okay.
He better be with a name like that.
Yeah. Right.
That's just his stage name, really. though.
Yeah. Of course.
But he's a DJ and a filmmaker and a rapper from LA.
Okay.
So this is like a conclave, of artists kind of all working together and putting this together.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know why it's taken so long for us, like an animation story of like Yasuke to happen, but I'm kind of glad
Thanks,
that it's
Netflix.
that it's happening.
Yeah. One big name that you'll see in the credits of this, also he's a producer on the series, is Lakeith Stanfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Recently nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I guess, for his work in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right.
And he also does the voice for Yasuke in the English version of the show.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
What happens in the show?
Yeah, so it starts off and there's like this huge battle, and that's when we learn that it's not just going to be straight historical retelling. There's also robots and magic and that sort of thing. But it turns out that in this battle, we learn that Yasuke's daimyo Nobunaga he's losing this battle, and this is really bad. So we see him commit seppuku, and he has Yasuke be his second, basically, and make sure that he's dead. And that is kind of told in like a flashback nightmare. And so that Yasuke is living in some, I can't remember if they tell us where it is in Japan, but he's living in Japan. It's like 20 or 40 years later, 20 years later.
20.
And he's like a boatsman and like a fisher in this small town, and he just wants people to leave him alone, and he doesn't talk about his past, and he drinks a lot, and he's very depressed and doesn't really talk to anybody. But then there's this little kid in town who really likes him and wants to be a samurai and wants him to train him, but he just kind of doesn't really pay attention to him too much. And then there's a lady who plays Koto in the bar that he goes to, and she's the little kid's mom, and then she also has a daughter, and the daughter's very sick, but it turns out she's got magic. And so that they need to go to a special doctor, but she's the only one who knows where the doctor is.
A magic doctor.
A magic doctor. And on the way to the magic doctor, they get attacked by these people who they don't know who they are. And the little girl's mother dies. And like the people that they get attacked by, they'll have like different things. The werebear. There's
Werebear?
There's she like turns into a bear, and then there's a robot and a lady with, what is the weapon called again?
A comma?
A comma. Yeah, thank you. A lady with a comma, and then a guy who's black, who's got some magical powers where he can like create like doubles of himself or something like that. And they get attacked by them, and a lot of chaos happens, and the mother dies, and that's essentially like the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched a couple episodes.
We did watch a couple episodes. Do you want me to talk about the second one too?
Well, I mean, I think we get the idea
Okay.
of what the show is.
Yeah.
A fictionalized account of the life of this man, I guess.
Unless
they're leaving the really good stuff out of the history books.
I don't know. I guess my question is, was it necessary to put like robots and magic stuff like in here? Wouldn't it have just been interesting, like a black man who's a samurai and then he's just trying to live his life, and like, wouldn't that be interesting too? And like, maybe he gets called to action again.
Maybe. It's an anime.
I know it's an anime, but there are historically somewhat accurate animes too, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Boring ones.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, let me stop you before I throw the reverse card on you and you seem like a real asshole. But I think it's great because it, like we said, this is made by a primarily black creative team.
Yeah.
And, you know, black people know how important anime is to a certain generation of young black people.
Sure.
But a lot of other people don't understand or know that. Like, black people love anime. Mm-hmm. And grew up watching it just like a lot of white kids did.
Sure.
And, you know, it was really influential on them. And I think it's great that, sure, yeah, I mean, you could have done a full-on historical fiction, I hope Genji is feeling good today, type anime.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think it's kind of cool that they basically just, I mean, clearly that people have worked on anime in this, who created this, comic books. They're taking all these influences and all these things from like...
Yeah.
From the black community's appreciation of Japanese genre fiction and
Sure.
culture, and just they're mashing it all together. And so, yeah, why not? What if a robot had a hard time fitting into a Japanese tea house to join this battle? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what
right.
if there was a tall werewolf lady?
Yeah.
You know, what if you had all these things? The only thing is that, like, when you are kind of appropriating a bunch of these kind of tropes, it does feel a little patchwork, and sometimes it feels a little rote. Like the idea of, oh, this girl, she's reaching that certain age, that age where your powers manifest.
Yeah.
We got to get her to Professor X. How do you say
Yeah.
X in Japanese?
Really.
Really quick. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like I recognize some of these beats from other stuff.
That's
But
fair.
that being said, like, I think that it all makes a very interesting kind of stew A Japanese stew?
Sure. What do they call it? Nabe, which is just like it's like a one pot meal.
Ah.
Like you make a nabe.
Sure.
Nabe means pot, I think. But yeah, I guess one thing that I don't understand, and I mean, okay, you're a guy, you run a boat and you fish, you don't really care, but you're like, oh, there's all this big stuff in the first episode that gets reiterated in the second one too, like about where Yasuke comes from. Everyone in his village looked out for the kids and everything, and then he takes the girl. I think it's in the second episode. They go back to the village and she's like, why are we here? And he's like, your mother didn't survive and blah, blah, blah. And then he's just drinking and he's not even looking at her. He's not like breaking the news to her, you know, softly, or you know what I mean? And she just runs off crying because she's upset that her mother passed, and he just doesn't do anything. I mean, I think he's not totally, completely invested in this kid yet. I think that will happen, but it's kind of like, Yasuke, why are you being a jerk to this little kid who just lost her mom? You know?
He's seen stuff, man.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure it's not like having to kill, you know, your daimyo who has basically helped you out for I don't even know how many years. Must have been really hard. So.
Well, also we see as the show goes on, there's kind of a continual series of flashbacks to Yasuke's earlier life as he gets closer to Nobunaga and to the other retainers that he has. You know, he's got like his sister works for him. She's like a woman who's basically also been made a samurai, and so she's facing discrimination. There's the guy that kind of runs the whole thing under Nobunaga, and he's very traditional, and so he doesn't like the fact that we've got a black samurai or a female samurai. You know, we've got these instances of discrimination that we're exploring, and then we're also seeing how Nobunaga has this great dream to unite all of Japan, but he's also kind of, you know, I mean, it's safe to say he's megalomaniacal a little bit,
but he's ruthless.
Also kind of going off the rails. You know? And everybody's sort of like, well, what is he doing? Like, why are we doing this? And he's drinking a lot of that Western wine a lot. You know, that grape wine.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Crazy off grape wine. So yeah, like how long is the center going to hold here? Whether or not Yasuke does everything he's told and does a good job.
Right. Yeah, I think the guy who's very steeped in tradition and doesn't like change, like was like, oh, he's Nobunaga is bringing in too many Western things, and like he's you know he doesn't care about tradition enough and that sort of thing, and it's like,
so I got TV in every room here.
I mean, it's like it's interesting,
which they could because it's apparently like cyber past.
Kind of, yeah, right? Because there's robots.
Well, I was looking at my notes, and I had initially wrote down, oh, it's part steampunk at the beginning, but then later on, it's like, no, it's just like straight up. They have like electricity, and
do they have electricity?
Well, like they were training in the courtyard of Nobunaga's palace, and they had like the typical stone walls, but also at like 12-foot intervals, there was like a plate with like a red light in it. There was some kind of like cyber part of the wall.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that it's cool that's there, though, that the talk about like tradition and, you know, what do we keep doing and then like, but how do we allow for change and growth and that sort of thing? Because I think that's something that Japan struggles with in some ways. You know, I mean, like there's a lot of tradition there, but and I shouldn't say not just Japan, a lot of cultures, but they also modernize a lot. But it's like, well, what traditions do you keep, and how do you adapt and change and allow your culture to grow and expand and allow other people to be a part of it? You know,
keep the tea.
Keep the tea.
Change the cell phone.
Yeah, right?
Everybody gets an iPhone.
Yeah, sure.
So hold on, we're getting a call from the palace. Uh-oh. So there's werewolf lady.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think normally you would. It reminds me of Ninja Scroll in a lot of ways because Ninja Scroll is nominally a historical story. It takes place later than this, probably around the 20 years part later. And so, Tokugawa is, assumed control over the entire thing. But there's this other figure called the Shogun in the Dark, who's like resisting this. And so Jubei Kibagami was a guy who was possibly a historical figure, but he's, more of like a popular figure. And he's the main character of Ninja Scroll. And so everything plays out politically the same. Like they're trying to get this gold, which will help the Shogun of the Dark fight against the Tokugawa clan. Only, also there's a guy who has bees in his back. And,
sure.
and there's a guy that's
Okay.
that's made totally out of rock.
Okay.
And it's like none of that really affects. All that does is just forward whatever the historical plot is. Mm-hmm. This is a little different in that if there were giant mechs in Japan, no matter who wins at the end of this, they've got giant mechs.
Right.
And then they put the mechs on boats or put skis on the mech. I don't know. And they take over China.
Yeah.
And then they run up against, the Mongols. And eventually, like, I'm looking at, like, 2020, the entire world is, like, cyber Japan, right?
Sure. Right. Unless everybody in the world has mechs.
Yes. It's mech detente.
Yeah, right.
Based on mutually mech-assured destruction.
Yeah, sure.
And so, like, I'm not criticizing it. This is all part of me going, like, yeah, just, you're going to make an anime, throw whatever you want in there.
Sure, right.
But normally, like, anime would, I don't know if this is possibly, like, the influence of the American creators. I think normally anime would Japanese love to find Japanese, like they're all one person. A lot of Japanese anime creators, if they have something like that, they try to find like a point of divergence, like, we lost the Russo-Japanese war and that led us to blah, 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 whatever.
Like experiment with robotics or something like that. Yeah.
Or like an alien ship crashed and brought us the robotics.
Right.
This, they're just like, I don't know, they got swords and they got robots and that's what we want to do.
Yeah. And then we find out later that the people who attacked him, they report to this one guy who he's some sort of like priest. Like, I don't know if he's like a Jesuit priest or what have you, or missionary.
I think he is.
Okay. And he's just pure evil. And he has some sort of God that he believes in. I don't know if it is the Judeo-Christian God or what.
6, the finale. Yasuke fights God.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Yeah, but he's I don't really know what exactly he wants the girl because it's somehow having her is going to give him power. And I don't know if that means like killing her or like taking her power somehow.
It's got my powers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, is he going to like suck her power out? Like, what's his name in Mortal Kombat? Sucks your soul out. Yeah.
he's White Shang Tsung.
Yeah, right.
Shaun Sungerson.
Sure.
Your soul is mine, buddy. Maybe it's like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't watch, we watched like the first couple episodes. We didn't watch enough to really get where they're going with their religious storyline.
Right.
But,
like, is it going to comment on that?
Yeah. But here's what I like. Here's what I think is cool. And here's why I love that it's Black creators behind it, is because they are talking about assimilation. They are talking about discrimination.
Yes.
They're even talking about religion and using religion to manipulate people and using it, having ulterior motives and pushing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going. And I like that. And I think they have some pretty good ideas so far. I think they've handled it pretty well in the hour or so that we've seen. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really great. And that's why, like, I want to see more. I also think it's interesting that, there is a very famous story called Shogun, written by James Clavell, a white guy, about a white guy that goes to Japan. They're like, this white guy, he's gonna samurai better than anybody's ever samurai.
Yep, he is the Tom Cruise before Tom Cruise.
And people are looking at this and going, come on, that's dumb. But like, if a black guy does it, it's fine. And you know what? I'm cool with that. I think that is fine.
I think it is fine.
I think it's way more interesting. I think it's, I think it's, I hope that Simu Liu beats up a lot of white guys. You know, I'd be really sad if Shang-Chi only fights other Asian guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
for
it's
sure.
great to have him come in and go, who is this guy? And he's just beating everybody up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we've been doing that. White people have been going to other Black Rain and Last Samurai and all these. They've always white guy sticks his nose in here. Let somebody else stick their nose in.
But I'm interested to see where this where the story goes, and I think Yasuke is kind of going to become like a surrogate parent figure to this kid, or at least a protector, and they're going to have some sort of bond. That's what I think. And they don't know where this doctor is, but maybe that'll be their quest, is finding this doctor or what have you, but who maybe it'll be like the power was within you all along or something like that. I hope it's not like that, but something better than that. But I wonder if any of the people who attacked them, like if they're gonna be bad guys the entire time, or if any of them are gonna like turn on the Jesuit priest guy and like join Yasuke's quest.
No.
Okay.
Cut them all in half.
Okay. All right.
They're
all pure evil. You heard it here first.
See.
Okay.
I like that. So the first episode just opens. The second episode like has an OP and they do the whole thing. And I also like that, like, if this, we complain about Netflix anime left and right. We argue whether it's real anime or not.
Yeah.
I think this is real anime.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because it's like a Japanese studio that's making it, but they've got an OP. It's got a full Japanese cast with subtitles if you want to watch it like that. Like, this is like real anime, but yet at the same time, it's American creators are able to collaborate with them and tell this story that if a straight Japanese studio tried to tell, we'd be back at, well, is this your story or not?
No, you're right.
I mean?
You're absolutely right.
And so I think that, this is a great collaboration as far as putting these things together. One thing that I question in the entire production, though, is why does everybody look so white? That you went to great lengths to design and create the look of Yasuke, who is, his whole thing is he's a black guy in Japan.
Yeah.
And then they did the typical anime thing where everybody got blue eyes and like blonde hair and like lots of mustaches. Like Japanese guys always grow mustaches because they can do that.
Some can,
some can. It really, I think, takes away from how different he's supposed to be and the road that he's supposed to walk when the guy who is yelling at him for being a foreigner is just like your German Irish grandpa. It's just like that visually that like takes me out of what they're trying to put me in a little bit.
Well, and I think it was like, especially like, it seemed to stick out more at the beginning. Like at the beginning of the battle, we don't know what's happening, and like one of the generals,
presumably it's all Japanese people fighting over Japan,
right. But like one of the generals, he looked very European,
blonde, and he's got like maybe he is like maybe they got their weapons from Spain, but he's got that like the doublet, the metal doublets, and the helmet and everything. It's like
It's like who is this guy?
Yeah,
and why do I care what's going on here?
What do you think about the suggestion? I don't really know all that much about Nobunaga, except he wants revenge. I know that a couple times.
Yeah.
But the suggestion that he's maybe little.
So you pointed that out
for the home audience.
Yeah.
That he might be not totally heterosexual.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really pick up on that until you said something. So maybe that's
I feel like that make it pretty explicit.
Yeah.
Or implicit.
Yeah, but then they do. But then within a couple seconds later, he grabs this lady's hand and they go off and do something.
That wasn't the lady. That was Ranmaru. That was his retainer. That was the guy that looks like a lady.
Okay. That's my bad then. I thought that okay, yeah, then definitely. I just realized I misinterpreted that. I did not realize that character is a male character who looks kind of like a woman. So yeah, I think that's definitely what's going on there.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I know. A little slow sometimes.
It is. What I meant. I found it fascinating that they held on to that because it is often portrayed in a historical sort of by historical perspective, that they had a thing.
Okay.
His name's Mori Renmaru.
Okay.
And he was one of his attendants, his guys. But often that is kind of suggested.
Well, I mean, I think
At
that time,
Hephaestion Alexander thing.
Sure.
They were roommates.
Right.
Lifelong best friends.
Best friends. They told each other's confidants. I mean, I think if you like grab somebody's, this is like ancient Japan, you grab somebody's hand to go off for a private meeting. I think that's a
dear friend.
Yes. I feel like
bosom buddies.
Well, I feel like holding hands even in modern day Japan is they're not as it's more intimate than you would think. I mean, I think you see it every once in a while, but they're not as big on PDAs in general as Americans are. So I feel like in a way that was like, oh my gosh, but like, yeah. So yes, that's definitely what's going on there with the general's skull with his blood in it as a goblet.
yeah. Oh, it is off the rails.
But I'm like,
check this
is he
out.
like actually gonna like
another world?
Right? Is he actually gonna like drink his blood? Because like we didn't actually see him do it, or is it just to be like to like look cool and intimidating? That's what I want to know.
Little A, little B.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you recommend this?
Yeah, I would.
Everybody's watching this.
I would 100% recommend this. And one thing that I had a thought of too while we were watching it, this show has Black creators, but it also has a Japanese team behind it as well. And we have characters who we have a Black samurai, but we have a lot of Japanese people. And I think that these are cultures and voices that we need to hear more from. So I think that this is an excellent thing to watch, and I'm totally okay with it not being historically accurate. I didn't want it to seem like I wasn't okay with that. But yes, I would 100% recommend this, and I'd like to see where this goes. I
watched one episode with the English, but then I switched over to the sub because that's what you do.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the dub was good, though.
Yeah, like Keith Stanfield's doing a good job. But, but I wanted to go back over to the dub. One other thing, and this isn't a huge complaint. I know it's just kind of the way it is these days. But the animation is good. It is way better. We've been on a tear recently, like criticizing, the crappy modern animation that you see. That's all computer stuff, and the DC films where nobody moves for just
don't get me started.
Still images.
That latest one.
This is not that.
No.
However, it is that kind of like 12 frame instead of 24 frame a second kind of thing that gives you the kind of thing that where it's a little choppy. And, sometimes it's a stylistic choice, and I guess that's fine to go with, but I'd like it if it was a little more
smooth,
fluid. If you look at like a Ninja Scroll or something like that, that's the fluidity of it. And the high frame count of that animation is what's really cool. Something else that's really cool is there's the guy that does the Japanese voice for Yasuke is named Jun Sojima.
Okay.
And he is a actor of color as well.
Oh, really? That's cool. That's really cool.
He was in the recent Kamen Rider 01 series.
I love that there's still Kamen Rider series.
Oh, of course.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. I think that it is, his name sounds Japanese, so I would assume maybe he has some Japanese heritage as well.
His dad is a actor from America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he also has a brother named Michael Takahashi, who is a basketball player.
Cool.
So we were like wondering, I think on another show, on our anime show, like what basketball is like in Japan. They have it.
Yeah, right.
And there are like 6'6" guys that are out there jamming it. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question answered, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
And he's only got 9,500 followers on Twitter, so we got to get that up.
Yeah.
That's going to change, right?
I would think so.
After people start watching this.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, the show is Yasuke. It's on Netflix right now. It's only 6 episodes, so you can get through it pretty fast. Hopefully we'll see a season 2 in the future.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hot. At that point where it's not summer. It's not even close to summer.
No, it's not.
But in our locales, it is warm. And you feel
humid.
it. It's that point right before you turn all the air conditioners on.
Yes.
But right after you've boarded up all the windows or done whatever you do. What do you do? Put the sock under the door?
Right. What?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wrap a
it's
towel
not,
around your head.
It's
and
not
you do the
winter
whole
anymore.
thing.
Yeah, right.
So that's where we're at. But we're still doing it just for you. And just for us, why don't you go to social media and find us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all those places. Follow us. Check out what we're doing. And we'll check back on you. I don't know how that works. Also, could you give us a rating on your favorite listening platform of choice? Go to it. Subscribe to the show. Give us a review and a rating because it really helps us out. It lets our cyber computer mech masters know that we're doing a good job and we can maybe move up in the ranks.
Yes.
Like Yasuke.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, give us 5 arms that get blown off. Did that lady's arm get blown off?
It really looked like it.
I don't know if it was her sleeve, but it seemed like they were suggesting
her arm.
It was blown off.
Yes.
But she's not dead.
Oh, you don't think so?
No body. She's coming back.
Okay.
So we don't even need those arms. Give us 5 stars. Instead, we'd appreciate it. That's it for us. We'll be back next week to talk about something else. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.